square-faced, and deep in a war that divides our nation, our families, and that collides armies with civilians. And the court do therefore sentence him, the said Dr. Aaron James, to be hung by the neck until he be dead. Not that I had anything to say in the matter. That comes from much higher up than me. A commission of military officers, in fact, who listened and found Dr. Aaron James, a civilian, guilty. We cannot have a solid opinion of that which we have not examined with rigorous inspection. And there is much you should know. I will share with you the details of this balancing act of a trial, and you may make your judgment. He commenced to cursing and swearing and stumbling about. He said that he was the captain of this group. He swore that he would kill us yet. He then stated that he tried to kill me several times before. Mentioned Palmyra as one of the places and the Shoals as another. I must pause for a minute to get to the importance of that last statement. Both of these places, Palmyra and Shoals, both of these are sites where secessionist bands of guerrillas had fought fiercely with Union troops. So groups of civilians who wanted the South to leave the Union had taken up arms, but not by joining the Confederate Army. They were fighting on their own, and ugly fighting they did at both these places, at Palmyra and the Harpeth Shoals. Now, knowing that, these places have a different meaning, yes? Ah, that look of revelation there. Yes, good! As knowledge is the key, and this is the charge of any person expected to rule a trial, to discern intended meaning from unintended meaning in a witness's testimony. It's this very puzzling that makes some of us love the law and its implementation. Back to the cursing and swearing. Not by me. Back to Curry's description of James as cursing and swearing. But yes, sir, I did notice him to be tolerable tight. Well, yes, sir, I'm careful to tell the truth. That is what we soldiers do. Well, me, sir, I was 16-year-old last 4th of July. I do not recall seeing him drink any more at the place. Arms? Well, yes, sir, he had use of both of his arms. Oh. You shall commit your efforts to the place they are designated and demanded, the pen and the ink. Any further imposing will be seen as a push beyond your expertise and your rank. That did bruise the ego. Said he did not mind at all if they hung him. Well, I wouldn't call it intoxication. I think he felt his dram, but not to the extent that he let on. Because when he talked sensible enough, and when he was cursing us, seemed to understand that business very well. Is it strange for men living in the country who have arms to bear them? The country is filled with horse thieves and robbers. No man knows at what hour he may be assailed. During this contest between the sections, the restraints of the law are all but thrown off. Is it not the mark of prudence that men who have arms should bear them in defense of their persons and property? Soon after, just ahead of him, he saw the guerrillas were met by a body of Federal soldiers. He turned around. The soldiers came on, shooting and firing. He jumped off his horse and hid behind a tree until the soldiers found him there and compelled him to Fort Donaldson. Well, he may earn nothing in my view for bravery. Still, it's not a tale that's impossible to be true, considering the times. And Jonas Spicer, who attempted to escape on his mule, they ran, which leaves this. Why? Why did they run? If they were peaceable citizens, assembled there for lawful purposes, why did they run? Why not remain? And conscious of innocent and lawful purposes, await the advance of the federal troops. Some elements of logic are missing. Let us pretend for the moment that innocent persons run into the woods, jump onto mules. It is difficult to pretend this, but just for the moment, pretend that this scene was so frightening as to cause a lapse in judgment so great as to send an innocent man, upon hearing shots fired, send him from a safe shelter out to bound upon the back of a mule and into a bramble, a darkness of woods. Have you your verdict? Based on what you have heard here, is he guilty of those 3 counts? Or innocent of those same 3 counts? And there is no ground in between, so on your decision, his fate would rest.